Well, here we are back again. Coming back from, oh my God, that was one hell of a sickness I had. I'm still bound into it a little bit. You can hear it in my voice. I do apologize that we haven't been up and running, but this illness kept me really, really down. Before we start, it's kind of weird when you get sick now. This as you get older, you don't energize back like you used to when you're younger, and it's just like it's a wow moment sometimes. I mean, those of you young, in the younger category, keep yourself strong on there, and keep yourself going to your doctor, and that's one major thing. I think I missed out on a couple of things on that way, and I think some things I could have avoided. And that's my fault, obviously. But most of all, most important is that thank you for staying with us, watching, subscribing, liking, supporting this show. I thank you. It's hard. It's hard doing shows on this. It's hard doing shows on YouTube. I love, just talking all day on these shows. Here on Madman with the Show and American Asylum. There's lots to discuss, and unfortunately, we don't get backup from YouTube. It's a shame. It's a shame. When you have situations like this where basically, hey, we're here, we're doing our job, and don't bend to the knee to other people because they just don't like what we have to talk about. Just like today. Terminator was released over the weekend, Terminator Dark Fate. And as I thought, back when the trailer came out, I said, okay, look like a decent trailer, but there's something just not, as they say, it's not leaving a good taste behind. And I was pretty much right. And so did the box office showing that. It opened to about almost $30 million. I would say 29 and change. That's just really, really poor, especially for Halloween weekend. Going into November, cooler days. Much colder days, and you look at it, and overseas they said, oh yeah, we did this X amount, which brings them up a bit. But it's still like in China didn't do much on there as well. So basically this is a big loss. They're talking to project to lose about 120 million. I think they're being a little light. I think it's more closer to 150, maybe 180 as far as losses to this series, because basically you have a series that's been around a long time as this is. It goes back to my youth. I love the original Terminator. Terminator 2 was also fantastic. One of the best sequels in history that's ever made on there. And after that, it's just faltered down. You got situations where basically the movie just kept getting written bad. And you could say that this time around, it goes like, oh, Zane, you're going to blame the wokeness. No, not really. I mean, there was some wokeness into this series, but I think it's just the overall general scripting of characters and stuff like that. The way they wrote Sarah Connor in, wrote, how everything else was put in. You have to sit there and think, is this going to work? And do I have the people writing the right things or experience enough that knows this series? There's a lot of people out there that that are writing scripts for TV shows and for movies that basically don't know the source material. They just brush through the source material and they shit out what they want. And it's the truth. You look at a lot of the TV series stuff that's been put up, like Baywatch and Chips and stuff like that. And how bad were they? The material itself was just like, oh my God. It was just horrendous. And there's plenty more on the way. That's the messed up thing is, Hollywood, I've said to myself, Hollywood is failing. It is dying. It doesn't have the strength like it used to. I mean, I've been watching some older films lately, Orson Welles stuff, some classic mystery films, Norway. I've been watching some of the dramas. I mean, stuff that was really, really well made. And I said, why can't we make films like this anymore? Why can't we? And then some people were telling me, says, well, you can't make some films today, like you can't do a Blazing Saddles today. And says, why? Because people will get upset about it? Obviously, I think it was there was a comedian from Comedy Central, a guy, a main comedian writer, and he was doing one of his shows live, at one of the comedy clubs, and he just got 2 seconds into his routine, and someone got offended. And he told the person, they said, if you got offended right now, I haven't even just, this is just the prelogue, going into it. I mean, I haven't even got into my set. If you got offended by just a couple of words into my set, you're not gonna like my set, and it's the truth. It's basically people get offended, easily on a lot of stuff. And you know what I have to say about that? Ooh, excuse me. Ooh, still a little tired. You know what I have to say about that is that basically, either grow a backbone or just don't go see it. Plain and simple. No one's forcing you to go see a particular movie. No one's forcing you to go see a comedy show. No one's forcing you to watch something on TV or listen to something on the radio or listen to something, that's recorded on there. You have the choice whether or not to see it or not or listen to it. You have that choice. That's one thing about the whole situation that, you don't have to sit there with your eyes splatted open like something out of Clockwork Orange to watch the thing, to watch whatever they want to throw up on the screen. And that's what it is, literally. Hollywood is just throwing up stuff onto the screen. There is no content to some of the stuff that's coming out these days. I mean, it's horrendous. I mean, you're going by the box office, all the let me just bring up the box office up here just from the weekend. Let's see, box office weekend. But, you look at it and you look at all the movies that came out. Joker is the most successful and then it's still making money. And, it's moving up very fast on there. You have Maleficent, which just like, it hasn't even hit $100 million on there. Then you had Harriet, which I knew the person who did this movie, I knew her a long time ago, and that didn't do too well. And there's a couple of things that I could have said, on this, that they were making it look like some action hero, and. If you're not knowing, it's about Harriet Tubman on there, and they were just the commercials alone just made it look like it's like, okay, no, that's not the way things went back then. Of course, the animated Addams Family, which you could be hit or miss on there. Zombieland's still not doing well on there. Let's see this countdown. Motherless Brooklyn. Let's see what Jojo Rabbit's at. As popular, as it well made that some people say that it's a great movie. I'm surprised Jojo Rabbit hasn't done more than that. It's about like at least a 4 million total gross, which that's horrible. Overall, as far as the gross on that. And then the Will Smith, and looking at the Will Smith, Will Smith didn't do any better than that. The Gemini Man, 46 million. It's on there. The Downtown Abbey is another surprise. I'm surprised that didn't do much better than it does, even though it scored in about 94 million on that. And let's see, going down further. There's not too much further down on there. Everything else is we know what it made prior to that. But when you're looking at this week, like I said, in your top 10, I think Joker is the only one in there, really truly, that is faring off excellent. Even though it only did 13 million, it's starting to slow down a little bit. It's been on the charts for 5 weeks now, and it will hit the $1 billion mark on that. That's guaranteed on the worldwide. I mean, the 300 million here, that's excellent on there, But Dark Fate to do 29, 30, 33, 82, and they were in about 4,000 theaters. 4,000 theaters, do the math. It's like it was like practically nobody going to see this movie over the weekend. If you put it in that perspective, if you went to the movie theaters, I mean, there was always a seat, there was plenty of seating available on there. And I wouldn't be surprised I would have to say, they'll probably take it down right after the Thanksgiving rush, if not sooner, on that, because it's costing them money to be in the movie theater. And, what can you expect? I mean, like I said, they need to stop doing this. The other half, you have Blumhouse, that basically, they're putting out the Black Christmas, and that already I know is not going to do well. And I could tell you for a fact that's horrendous. If you're not familiar with Black Christmas, no, it's not the one that was back a couple of years ago. This goes all the way back to the 70s, 74, before Halloween, before Freddy Krueger. I mean, this was a really good slasher flick, slasher sort flick. Olivia the Hussey, Margot Kidder, sorority house that basically somebody is murdering each sorority one by one during the Christmas break, and we're trying to figure out who it is. And I'll tell you, I gave it, the ending on this is very Bravo, very ballsy to do an ending like this. Because basically, you would think, what kind of freaking ending was that? Now, you would think back then in the 70s. But when you look at it back now, and you look at the perspective and you say, like, wait a minute. That happened, and it ended up this way. Not to give anything away. And that's more brilliant than I thought. And now you're looking at the trailer, the new trailer, which is basically I kid you not, they gave away pretty much the entire movie in the trailer. Okay? Who is making up these trailers? I mean, number one, the trailer is horrible as it is. I mean, I don't know who edited that trailer. I could have edited a trailer for them that would have been really, really good. Number two, the antagonists in there, they were making, white college men bad. They're making it look in that perspective, and they're making it look in perspective that it's multiple killers on there, and it's just a total insanity on there. And then the girls are starting to fight back. If you look at the perspective of Black Christmas, the original 74 Christmas was more like a little combination of Halloween and When a Stranger Calls. Because that was done, the way the phone calls and stuff like that someone kept calling, and they didn't know where the phone call was coming from. John Saxon's also in there, surprisingly. Like my wife said, John Saxon's in the movie? She gets surprised with some people when she watches certain movies that they're in the movie. But when you look at the newer stuff, when they try these remakes, they're just horrendously done. They're just like literally, they're just pure garbage. And they try to woke everything up there. Oh, the girl has to be strong and stuff like that. Go back and look at the '74 one. You tell me, if one or two characters are strong women. Because Olivia Hussey, she did pretty good on there. Of course, you had the stereotypical, like Margot Kidder was the drunk on there, and there was another girl played by Andrea Martin who was trying to keep the order all together. And this is just a typical life. Not everybody is going to take well to a serial killer killing people in a house, and people are going to get nervous to the situation. It's like, yeah, let's go get him back. Get the pitchforks and stuff like. Don't work like that. Real life, it doesn't work like that. I mean, there are people that will fight back, and sometimes it ends up to be detrimental. Unless you got a gun with you, then all bets are off. So comment below. Tell me how you feel about this. How you feel, Dark Fate. How you feel about the new Black Christmas coming out. How these are all failures at the box office. The constant failures, day in, day out, with all these movies. I mean, there's one point where the people got to say, "Hey, hold it! You need to stop it." Is this death to the Terminator franchise? Yeah, for now. I guarantee you they'll try this back up in 5 years. But for now, I think this is it is the death of it, and just gotta take it in stride to the situation. And they ruined a good series again, because you had several Genesis. What was the other one? Was Genesis, and then there was one before that, and and they were all horrible. So don't forget, we are on Minds and Gab. You can check us out there. We're also on BitChute, and you'll find us also on Facebook and Twitter. So if you want to comment there, or like I said, comment below. I like to hear from you on guys. It'll be a little slow on the return, on the answerings on stuff like that. I'm trying to catch up on a lot of back things that's going on. Sorry for the noise in the background. Someone's being really rude. So I'll leave it off at this because they're getting louder and louder out there. So until next time, I hopefully will have a show the next day. Thank you for watching us at Madman with the Show on Q2Cast TV.